the entire WTA world was shaken to its core by Alex Eala. What began as a spectacular rise on the tennis court suddenly transformed into one of the most bizarre and explosive internet scandals in modern sports history. Across social media, rumors worth billions of dollars spread like wildfire, dragging in celebrities, billionaires, media outlets, and millions of emotional fans. Overnight, Alex Eala was no longer just being discussed for her performances. Instead, the conversation revolved around something far more shocking: attempts to push her off the court entirely. What actually happened was far more dramatic than anyone imagined. When the smoke finally cleared, what remained wasn't just controversy. It was a warning. A powerful reflection of how celebrity, social media, and digital manipulation collide in the modern world. And at the center of this storm stood a 20-year-old tennis player who never asked for any of it. This is the complete story. And if you believe you already understand it, you don't. Because to grasp how a so-called billion-dollar scandal could nearly break the internet, you must first understand exactly who Alex Eala is and what she represents to an entire nation. Alexandra Maniego Eala was born on May 23, 2005, in Quezon City, Philippines. From a young age, she was different. Not just talented, but extraordinary. Tennis wasn't simply her sport. It was her destiny. While most children were still discovering hobbies, Alex was already training relentlessly, fueled by discipline, sacrifice, and an unshakable belief that she could reach the very tops. Her teenage years, she had become a global junior sensation. In 2022, she made history by winning the U.S. Open Junior Girls Singles Championship, becoming the first Filipino Grand Slam champion in any category. That moment alone rewrote Philippine tennis history. But Alex was only getting started. She became the first Filipino to break into the WTA Top 100, the first to defeat multiple top 5 players, the first to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal, and in early 2026, she climbed to a career-high world ranking of number 31, the highest ever achieved by any Filipino tennis player, male or female. But statistics only tell half the story. What truly separates Alex Eala from every other rising star on the women's circuit is her connection with people, her presence, her emotional pull. Wherever she plays, Miami, Dubai, Guadalajara, Paris, stadiums fill with Filipino fans. Not because of marketing campaigns, not because tournament organizers push her matches, but because her people follow her everywhere. They travel across continents. They stay up until sunrise. They save money, skip work, and cross oceans just to watch her play. They cry in the stands. They chant her name. They wave Philippine flags in foreign lands. One fan summed it up perfectly online. Alex Eala isn't just playing tennis. She's carrying a nation. For decades, tennis had no Filipino presence at the highest level. Alex changed that overnight. Suddenly, the Philippines had a star, a hero, a symbol of possibility. And with that kind of visibility, something else always follows. Pressure. At the beginning of 2026, Alex Eala was no longer just an athlete. She had become an online phenomenon. Every movement analyzed, every expression dissected, every post scrutinized. And that is where things began to spiral. Picture waking up one morning and discovering your name attached to one of the most absurd financial stories in sports history. Not 50 million, not 100 million, but $1.6 billion. That is exactly what happened to Alex Eala in February 2026. Multiple viral Facebook posts suddenly claimed that a billionaire from Abu Dhabi, one of the richest men in the world, had personally offered Alex a $1.6 billion contract to become the face and queen of a brand new global tennis league. The deal allegedly included a $1 billion signing bonus, followed by tens of millions annually for 10 years, in exchange for relocating to Abu Dhabi and leading the Abu Diamond Tennis Championship. The story exploded. Within hours, the posts were shared tens of thousands of times. Comment sections flooded with emotional reactions. Congratulatory messages poured in. Fans celebrated as if history itself had unfolded before their eyes. Many cried. Many felt overwhelming pride. Their national icon, their daughter, their champion, chosen by one of the wealthiest figures on earth. There was just one problem. None of it was true. Fact-checking organizations quickly investigated. No evidence, no contracts, no statements, no confirmation from any credible news outlet, no official word from Alex's camp, no announcements from the WTA. Nothing. The entire story had been fabricated from thin air, and it didn't stop there. Another viral claim soon followed, stating Alex had signed a $45 million endorsement deal with Wilson Sporting Goods, also fake. Then came rumors of multi-million-dollar airline sponsorships. False. Then stories about massive charitable donations. Fabricated. AI-generated images began circulating, showing Alex hugging a supposed cancer patient who allegedly sold his motorcycle just to watch her play. The man never existed. The photos were artificial. Even worse, in these fake images, Alex, a known left-handed player, was holding her racket in her right hand. The digital machinery had gone into full operation, and it had been operating quietly for months. Investigations later revealed a coordinated network of content farms, multiple Facebook pages disguised as tennis news outlets. Their strategy was brutally simple: build massive fan bases using real tennis content, then inject emotional, fabricated narratives designed to go viral. Stories of billion-dollar contracts, miraculous charity acts, heroic sacrifices, and dramatic conflicts. Every click generated revenue. Every share meant profit. Every emotional reaction translated into advertising money. They had discovered a painful truth about the modern internet. Emotion spreads faster than truth, and nothing spreads faster than national pride. The idea that a Filipino girl had become so powerful, so valuable, that billionaires were competing for her. It was irresistible. People didn't want to question it. They wanted to believe it. The collateral damage was enormous. Veteran Filipino journalists were dragged into false controversies. Fake quotes attributed to respected news anchors circulated widely. Television networks had to issue public clarifications. Fans became angry, confused, and defensive. Debates erupted over sponsorship inequality, racial bias, and why Asian athletes often receive less commercial recognition despite elite performance. Meanwhile, tournament organizers came under criticism for how they scheduled Alex's matches, placing her games at times that forced Filipino fans to stay awake until 1 a.m. or later. Many questioned why one of the sport's fastest-rising global stars was not being properly prioritized. Suddenly, one fabricated story had unleashed years of suppressed frustration, pride, disappointment, and hope, all centered around Alex Eala, and in the middle of it all stood a 20-year-old athlete who simply wanted to play tennis. While the internet burned, Alex trained. After painful losses, she returned immediately to the practice court. No social media meltdowns, no angry statements, no emotional public reactions. She worked, and when she finally addressed the false news, her response stunned everyone. "I really have no control over what people post," she said calmly. "It is worrying sometimes because these things get so many likes. It becomes hard for people to tell what's real and what's fake. I just hope everyone looks for reliable news sources. No anger, no bitterness, just clarity." Then she added something even more powerful. "I try my hardest because I know I represent a large community. It's a privilege to have this support." At just 20 years old, Alex displayed emotional maturity beyond her years. While others chased imaginary billions, she focused on something far more valuable: purpose. The reality of her financial journey told a far more honest story. By early 2026, Alex's total career prize money stood at approximately $149 million. Remarkable for her age and career stage, but light years away from the fantasy numbers being spread online. Her real sponsorships came from trusted brands, built on genuine belief: Babolat, Nike, Globe Telecom, and the Bank of the Philippine Islands. These weren't flashy illusions. They were real partnerships based on performance, dedication, and authenticity. And her real accomplishments? Defeating top-ranked players, reaching WTA semifinals, winning international titles, competing in Grand Slams, rising to world number 31, becoming the highest-ranked Filipino in tennis history. These were her true billions. Not money, but moments. Not contracts, but courage. Not viral posts, but victories. Which leads to the deeper question: what does this entire saga truly mean? History shows us that certain athletes become symbols before they are even fully formed as players. Muhammad Ali, Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, and now, Alex Eala. They carry more than rackets. They carry identities, movements, hopes, and national dreams. They become mirrors in which entire societies see their own potential. But when that happens in the age of social media, danger follows. Because the modern internet values emotion more than accuracy, speed more than truth, sensation more than substance. The billion-dollar scandal surrounding Alex wasn't an accident. It was a symptom of a system built to exploit emotion, to monetize hope, to weaponize admiration. And yet through it all, Alex remained grounded. She never chased headlines. She never leaned into the chaos. She simply played tennis. After difficult losses, she spoke honestly about the gap between herself and the world's elite, not with discouragement, but with determination. She saw every setback as information, every defeat as a lesson. Her message remained consistent: progress, patience, perspective. That's why the fake stories eventually collapsed, because reality kept outperforming fiction. While internet myths burned bright and fast, Alex's journey continued quietly, match by match, city by city, country by country. And that journey is far more powerful than any imagined billion-dollar contract. The WTA tournament organizers, sponsors, and media all learned something essential from this episode. Alex Eala is not just another promising player. She is a global figure, a cultural force, a once-in-a-generation talent, and she deserves better systems, better protection, better respect, because her story isn't slowing down. At 20 years old, ranked among the world's best, she is only at the beginning. The real narrative is still unfolding. So tonight, here's the question worth asking. In a world where fake billion-dollar deals spread faster than real Grand Slam victories, what does that say about our values? Are we building systems to protect rising stars like Alex Eala, or exploiting them for clicks, attention, and profit? Alex never signed a billion-dollar contract, but she signed something far more powerful: a promise to a nation, a promise that a girl from the Philippines can stand on the world's biggest courts, not just to compete, but to belong, and long. After the false stories fade, that promise will remain. This is Alex Eala, and this is Tennis NetUp, where we tell the stories behind the headlines. If this story moved you, hit subscribe and stay tuned, because the journey has only just begun.